Talking a lot this week about the Democratic National Convention, but politicians on the other side of the aisle are still campaigning.
Now, this morning, DU professor of political science Seth Masket joins us now. Seth, good morning.
Good morning.
Talking about former President Trump's campaign, how does he cut through the noise of the DNC happening this week?
Well, I mean, he's really trying to keep some attention on himself. His campaign's been relatively quiet over the last few weeks, but the DNC seems to be kicking him into gear. And there is, definitely some effort here to sort of cut through the clutter. He's been talking a lot about trying to portray Kamala Harris's nomination as some kind of a coup within the Democratic Party, saying, talking about there being dissent within the party, that she's faking her supports. He's, trying to set the stage for some challenges of her legitimacy, and also trying to portray her as outside the norm, referring to her as a Marxist or a communist. It's fairly bombastic, but it obviously is drawing some attention.
Seth, there's talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump. What would that do to each campaign's numbers? Who do you think those supporters for RFK would give their vote to?
So it's interesting. Up until about a month ago, polls suggested RFK was drawing some disaffected Democrats as well as Republicans. Since Joe Biden stepped down and Kamala Harris became the presumptive nominee, a lot of those sort of disaffected Democrats have come home to the party. So most of RFK's supporters now are more, Republicans who've been, I think, a little uncomfortable with Donald Trump. Trump stands to benefit from RFK stepping down. Maybe not hugely, but there's, probably more supporters going in his direction than Harris's.
Now that we're almost through the DNC, kind of looking back at the RNC, comparing the two, what are you seeing are some of the biggest differences from each of the conventions?
One of the interesting things about the Republican convention, that had two main themes. One of which was that Biden is old, can't do the job, and shouldn't be running. The other was talking about Trump's heroism in the face of an assassination attempt. And the first argument is really no longer relevant with Biden having stepped down. And the second, no one really talks about anymore. So it's strange. It's had that convention itself has had very little of a legacy. Usually you see the second convention kind of rebutting the first, but Democrats haven't been doing a lot of that. They've been coming up with their own messaging instead.
Well, Seth, as always, we appreciate you joining us to give us a little bit of insight on this. And I know you're going to be sticking around and joining us over on KTVD later this morning. We'll see you then.